2 days before Thanksgiving in 2009. Phone rang. I recognized the number but still cautiously answered. Who's this? Kev, this is Wayne. Wayne Higgins was an attorney I had known for a long time. He was close with my mentor FL, who had been murdered a few years prior, and somebody that I trusted. Hey Kev, you have a minute to talk. Yeah, what's up? You have a major problem going down. I need to talk to you. Come have dinner with me at Benihana's. Alright, cool. We met at the Benihana in Beverly Hills on the Cienega Boulevard. Once we placed our orders, he said the FBI wants to talk to you. What? Yeah. Yes, fuck you. You have a serious problem. They got you. I cut him off. You tell them to go fuck themselves, Kev. They just want to talk to you. Just the mention of the name FBI got me agitated. I raised my voice, man. I don't want to talk to them, so fuck them. The people at the tables next to us started to give us worried looks, but I didn't give a fuck. The FBI must have given Wayne some code words to use if I became upset because he paused, took a deep breath, leaned in closer and asked softly, do you have a cousin named Duane in Texas that you've been sending PCP to? Nah man, that's some bullshit. But deep down, I knew it was right. There was no way he could have known that. Tell them I don't want to talk. This conversation is over. Well, the conversation was over, at least the part where we discussed speaking with the FBI. The rest of the night I couldn't stop thinking about what the FBI wanted to talk to me about. How the fuck did they know about my cousin Diane in Texas? The federal task force had been trying all kinds of stunts to get me to talk. A few months prior, they had set up a fake office at Universal Studios and had a movie executive call me. He wanted to talk because they were making a movie about Tupac and Biggie. I went down there, and the guy said, I'm going to give you $500,000 if you help us as a consultant. That sounded like some police shit to me, so I called Wayne Higgins and he accompanied me to the follow-up meeting. While the guy was talking, Wayne interrupted what the dude was saying and asked the motherfucker, who are you in bed with? That choked the guy up, so I knew something was wrong. I never went back down there after that, but the feds knew from the movie shit that Wayne and I were friends. So I guess they called him to try to get me to talk with them. I was like, hell no. Around 4:30 a.m. in the morning after having dinner with Mr. Higgins, as my wife was getting ready to leave for work, she raised the garage, and there they were, the FBI were. Tell Kefadi to come down. We want to talk to him. She tried to lie and said, Kefadi's not home. Paula, we just saw him take out the trash. We'll tear this house up, embarrass everybody, and put all of you on the streets right now. We want to talk to him. We're not here to arrest him. Paula came up and got me. When I came down into the garage, they made sure that I saw them removing the tracking devices off of all my family members' cars. There were 2 white agents, Greg Kading and another agent named Jeff, and a black agent named D, but you'd better believe they had their goon squad nearby that would tear my shit up if I decided to act the fool. All I had to do was say, go fuck yourself, do what you gotta do, you son of a bitches, and the goon squad would have been called. The 3 agents came into the garage, so I pulled out a few folding chairs, closed the garage, and we sat there and talked like men. They began, we just want to talk to you. After a few minutes, the timer caused the lights in the garage to go off, and it was pitch black inside. That shit scared them to death. They said they wanted to talk, so I let them say what they had to say. You're running a criminal enterprise with all of your family. Then they started, we also have you on numerous murders. I ain't killed nobody. Nonchalantly, D said, we know. His cold ass response put a chill down my spine, naming some of my family members who were involved. They told me that one of my cousins was the best at cooking up cocaine in the United States. What they were saying was mostly accurate, but my job was to listen to what they had to say. We have numerous cases against you that will lead to a life sentence. You're 46 years old and you're going to die in jail. Then they said, if you're planning to hire Eddie Fall, we're going to arrest you right now. You can't hire Eddie Fail. They knew I fucked with Eddie because every time I would get a call, I would stick Eddie Fail on them, call them Edie. That would back them up off of me because Eddie is the king of getting people off on murder raps. 182. You're going to go home messing with Edie. That's why law enforcement hated him. When Eddie would come to visit me at the MDC, they'd be like, man, how you know him? I understood why they had that no Eddie clause in the deal. Then the FBI agent, Jeff, pointed in the direction of the house across the street from mine and said, we've had that house right across the street from you the whole time. For real? Yeah. I owned a big house in the hills of Corona, so they had to spend a pretty penny to take over that house. They explained that they had a 146-man task force that had been following us around for the past 2-3 years. Kefadi, we got your ass. All of your friends have turned on you. Then they started naming the people who were going down with me if I didn't cooperate with them. Boss man, my Mexican plug out in the valley, they named them all. We got all y'all. Then D, the black agent, said, Kev, we have some more stuff on you that's going to break your heart, dude. We also have you on numerous murders. There was an uncomfortable pause, then I responded, I ain't killed nobody. Nonchalantly, D said, we know. The cold-ass, matter-of-fact response put a chill down my spine. D's response had me thinking who they'd been talking to. On the way out of the garage, the agent Jeff was speaking to me, and he handed me his card. Greg Kading saw and heard me talking with Jeff. So when Kading got me alone, he said, if you call them, all deals are off. Kading and D were detectives with the Los Angeles Police Department who were deputized as federal agents for that investigation as part of the task force. Jeff actually worked for the FBI. I guess Greg Kading didn't want me speaking to Jeff because he wanted everything to go through him so that he could become known as the super cop who solved the Tupac and Biggie murders. Before they left, their last comment was, you need to come down to our office before 5:00 p.m. to speak with us. My wife ended up not going to work that day, and I spent the next few hours telling my wife and kids to go fuck themselves because they were all encouraging me to go downtown to their offices and talk to them. I was adamant, I'm not doing that bullshit. I wasn't raised like that. I was going crazy. Fuck them. Junior, my oldest daughter, had tears in her eyes as she said, Dad, you've missed half of my life. I don't need you missing my kids' lives. At that point, I had spent close to 15 years of my life locked up behind bars. They don't give out chances like this. They're giving you a chance, Dad, and they don't usually do. This I was heated. Go fuck yourself. They were all crying. Even my son-in-law, That snake-ass bitch Menace, he was in there crying because he was living with us at the time and was going to get 10 years too. My oldest daughter was like, Daddy, you're tripping. It was me against the whole family. I guess I'm the only one that ain't no punk. Y'all a bunch of bitches letting these people scare the shit out of you. Sentence. You're gonna get a life. Motherfucker, you can't get no life sentence for a kilo of coke and a gallon of water. The most first, my oldest daughter had tears in her eyes as she said, Dad, you've missed half of my life. I don't need you missing my kids' lives. Could get his 10 years. You've been to the feds before. That's an automatic double. I refuted that point. I plead guilty in the first court. I knew my shit. The only thing that kept me from telling the feds, I don't roll over like that. Go fuck yourselves. Take me to jail was the comment D made when he said, we know. That was a cold comeback. I just needed one person to side with me and back me up. I was confident my youngest daughter, who wasn't home at the time, was going to be that person. She and I were tight, and when she came back, I just knew, because she was a little gangster like me, she was going to say, it's all right, Dad, ride it out. Fuck. Instead, when she got home and heard what was going on, she said, nah, Dad, tell them what they want to know. We need you here. It was baby girl's input that was the deciding vote for me. I picked up the phone to make the most challenging call of my life. Betrayal. To me, the thing that is worse than death.